Hello everyone and welcome to this tutorial on how I create comics using the iPad Pro and Procreate. So just as a disclosure, I'm not doing any too complicated comics. It's just simple stuff like like this. So the Procreate is more than adequate for this type of comics, web comics. So first of all, everyone starts out with a blank canvas. What I use for sizes is for web comics and comics like this, which I'm going to print at some time, is this one, the A4 at the 300 dpi. I've created this one. It's not a default template canvas, whatever. So let's just open this one. I've been working on it for a while. What I first do is add a grid. I just downloaded this. Is like a math notebook. It's a grid. It just keeps me in line. Let's say that it keeps me in line and helps me draw straighter lines and position everything better. So after I've done this, the first thing I do is a sketch, and I tend to keep my my things pretty rough with the sketch. And after the sketch, I add the speech. On another layer, I add the speech I have here. As you can see, it's the entire sketch for the entire page, and this speech sketch. So for now, let's just turn this off, and with the sketch done, first I create the panel borders, which is this. Okay, I'm not trying to keep it very tight or keep it straight, because I like this wobbly line type of thing. And what I do then is add the log lettering. This is just the thoughts and stuff from my comic. It will appear in the comic. It's not dialogue, it's not speech, it's just the diary part. And after this is done, I start doing the sketches, and I do them panel per panel. So this is sorry, not the sketches, the inks. This is the inks for panel 1 here, as you can see, and then panel 2, which is here, and then panel 3 and panel 4 and 5 I did on the same layer. Okay, after I do this, I do the speech, the inking of the speeches. You may not really see it here, but let me turn off the inks. You can see the writing and the speech bubbles and everything. So okay, this is as far as I got with this page, and what I will be doing now is taking all the ink layers and duplicating them. So I create a duplicate of this one, duplicate of this one, duplicate of this one, duplicate of this one, duplicate of the log lettering, no, and the panel borders, I duplicate that as well. So, and then I just bring them all next to another like this, so I have them in line. So this is panel. Okay, there's something wrong here. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5, and take the panels. Okay, and then I just squeeze them all together to merge them. This is a default Procreate behavior, so let's rename this one. This will be our flat colors. Okay, and at this moment we can just turn off the sketch and turn off the grid, and we're just left with clean lines. As clean as make them. So what I can do right now is and just start coloring in stuff, adding the flat colors. How I do that is by dragging and dropping on the screen with the flood fill, using the flood fill thing Procreate has. And since I now have borders here, the flat colors layer, I have the inks, they act as borders, so I can just fill a certain part. So I have a color palette here, which is just for this comic, so I'm just gonna tap on the skin color. This is the skin color for the main character, so I'm just gonna show you. I'm gonna, oh, it's times when the lines, the inks are not continuous, so you have to just do this and fill it. Okay, so with this done, make sure you don't have any gaps in the inks, which will act as borders, and just drop the color there using the flood fill tool Procreate has. Just like that. You can always just use your pen to color in some parts that are not filled, like where, for instance, this one, just to fill each segment would be, well, harder with the flood fill than using my brush. So there it goes. Let's fill this one, and finger, I'll just paint it in. Okay, and you get the point. Okay, so this is what I'll be doing for, well, a lot of time from here on. It's just, this is the jeans color. It's quite time consuming. It's a time consuming activity, but, well, it's faster than actually doing it manually, doing the entire thing manually. I'm just gonna choose a color for this pole here, and just as I said, the inks are interrupted from place to place. So what you can do now is just reinforce the borders of the shape, just like this. So I'm just gonna draw the borders. It's not necessary to draw all of the border, but you can just go over the spots where it's interrupted, like this one here. So I'll just go like this. Let's see where I can, and then try it again. Okay, so we have all the borders covered. Okay, let me add a background color to this building here. You can see some of the pieces here got colored. This is supposed to be the vomit. So as I said, these are really small pieces, so I wouldn't bother just using the flood fill tool. I'll just paint them in manually. Okay. Well, I can use the flood fill on this because it's gonna take a while. Sometimes the flood fill leaves this kind of well, uncolored edge, because it's a raster. Procreate is a raster program, so there are some gray pixels on the edge of your line work. But you can just go over them with the pen, and that's if you want to do it, because you can just leave it and it probably won't. It really won't matter. Yeah, and okay, so after going through this, just 1 second, let me just erase this, because of the incomplete line there, a couple of steps here got colored with the building. So after doing this, going through the entire page with adding the flats, you can add some effects, you know, just like the way you would use masking in Photoshop. So how do I do that? So I take the flat colors layer and duplicate it, and actually turn off the flats. Let's rename this one. I call it full color. Okay. Keeping the flats like the way I keep it deactivated is just more of a backup copy. Yeah, a backup copy in case in case I fuck up on the colors. Let's erase this one. Another line that was interrupted and this part got colored. So what you can do, you can take the selection tool, and here in the bottom you can switch from freehand to automatic, and I will just click this one here and this one here. It's just using the selection tool on automatic, and if you have some experience with Procreate, you will know how to do this. Okay, and after you do this, you just click on the brush here, and I want to give some texture to this well, this building. It's a building actually, so I'll just go to where is it? Industrial concrete block. Okay, I'm gonna use this brush, which is a default in Procreate. Choose a color, make the brush really big, and I'm not happy with this. I'm not happy with it at all, so I'll just use more gray. Okay, it's a bit too dark now. Use some greenish stuff to add some light. I like it. Use a dark green. Okay. And this is how you add some more textures. You add some more by selecting just a part of the drawing of the flat color and doing what you want with it. And you're always going to be safe because you have these like layer 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 and 5, speech, log lettering, whatever. You're gonna have this saved on top of the colors. So even if you on this layer you just go and draw over the lines like this. See, you draw over everything except for the actual lines because these are on other layers on top. Yeah, so this would be everything. This would be my entire project process. It's a bit time consuming, but not as much as you think. Okay, thanks for watching and see you next time.